but I do know this. You are listening to the All Things Wrestling podcast, and this is the special 50th episode with Tony with a Twist.
And good morning, good afternoon. Sammy Kiss kicking off the show for ATW, All Things Wrestling Podcast. How you doing, Sammy?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Tony?
I'm doing good, man. 50th episode. I'm excited. Got some guests lined up. It's been a crazy little while since we had you on. Just want to say thanks for coming on. And you are officially, this is your third appearance.
This is our third appearance. Yeah, I think it was back in the spring last time I was on the show. Great to be back. Love talking to you guys. Love talking pro wrestling. And how awesome is it that this is the 50th episode, right?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's been fun. It's been a fun ride. How about you? What do you got going on for reality wrestling? Are you still doing that, or is it just the Wildcat Sports? What do you got going on?
Well, yeah, as you know, I know we talked about last time that I've been really kind of blowing up in the state of Texas with a lot of the great independent wrestling promotions out there. You got Reality Wrestling with Booker T, you got New Texas Pro Wrestling, and you've got Hurricane Pro Wrestling. I do a lot of stuff backstage, a commentary announcing with them. But now that, you know, the pandemic has settled down a lot, pro wrestling has returned to Louisiana, which is my home state, my home promotion, Wildcat Sports. And we're coming back with the bang November 12th and 13th with the NWA for our first big show, the Revolution Rumble, in just a few weeks. So we're getting really excited, doing a lot of work on that. So that's been keeping me very busy the last few weeks as we get set for that big show.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, we got a jam-packed show, and we'll definitely talk more to you about what you got going on. Plug away, all the shows coming up. Man, I got to get to the South. I keep saying it. I saw my first independent wrestling show maybe 6 weeks ago, and that was a blast. But yeah, man, I got to get out to your neck of woods. But we got a jam-packed show, man. We got some guests, some really special guests lined up. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun show. But I got WWE legend and Hall of Famer, the Iron Sheik, joining us this morning. Iron Sheik, thank you so much.
Wow. Good morning, Baba. Good morning.
Now, I see you got a new look going on there, Sheik. Is this the 2022 version? We got the beard, not just the curly Q vaudeville and mustache going on.
Listen, Twist Tony, I tell you right now, Iron Sheik have the beard because every intelligent American know that the Halloween is coming for the October and the end of the October, and when you are going for the Halloween, you have to dress like something you are not. Iron Sheik is not Jabroni, so Iron Sheik grow out beard like Jabroni Macho Man. I'm going to be the Jabroni Macho Man for the Halloween.
Well, you know, Macho Man, rest in peace. You know, the legend, Hall of Famer.
The Macho Man.
Okay, Sheik. Well, hey, what does the Sheik dress up for as Halloween? I mean, are you pretty much the Iron Sheik 24/7, or, you know, are we dressing up as something else for Halloween?
Every day, Iron Sheik is the legend, is the greatest heavyweight champion of the world, greatest tag team champion of the world, greatest Olympic champion, greatest inter-world champion, greatest in the world, in the universe. So when it is time for the Halloween, the Iron Sheik is something different. This year, Iron Sheik, like I say, is the Jabroni, the Macho Man.
Well, you know, Sammy and I, we're golden era fans of the WWF back in the day. Yeah. So, Sammy, I mean, it's got to be awesome to have the Sheik on, man.
Oh no, this is an incredible honor. I mean, the man that defeated Bob Backlund to become the WWE champion. It is an honor to be sharing the screen with you, sir. You are a legend, a Hall of Famer, and I appreciate you coming on, sharing some of your very valuable time with us.
Listen, the Twist, Tony, who you put me on this show with, I don't know. This kisses Sammy. My jabroni look like a light bulb in a t-shirt. I it's like what you get when you order Tony Schiavone from the Wish. Who is this man? Who is he? Why you have Dollar Store JR on TV with the Iron Sheik?
Okay, all right, Sheik. We got to be nice to the guests, man. Sammy's great. Big announcer in Texas. I mean, you've wrestled plenty in Texas.
Texas.
I mean, Sammy's fantastic, man. Come on, you're calling him
Texas is
wish
good
list
for the-
Tony Schiavone.
Texas want to be like the Tehran, Iran, want to be center of the wrestling world. Texas have very long way to go. Texas good for toast. Texas good for steak. That is what the Texas is good for. You bring the Texas to Tehran, Iran, I show them the old country way, Baba.
Oh wow!
Now, I don't think that I'd like to say that I think anytime anyone compares me to either Tony Schiavone or Jim Ross, that's a big compliment. And I know that we really shouldn't be too hard on the Iron Sheik. I mean, again, he is a Hall of Famer, and he has been doing a lot of things. I mean, we all remember that long walk he took to the ring in the state of Texas for the gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania 17. I think that was the last time that I saw Iron Sheik on my television set in one of those big shows. I see the ring behind you, Iron Sheik. Are you thinking about coming back to the squared circle sometime soon?
I put the ring behind me so that you always remember. And you are generally safe from the camel clutch, but never 100%, Baba. You can anytime be made humble. So you remember that the ring behind the Iron Sheik is where that can happen.
Well, right. Sheik, I love it that you're always ready. You know, Ric Flair is. You guys are probably close in age. Ric Flair is still wrestling, man. I mean, is there a chance we're going to see the Sheik in 2023?
Listen, Twist Tony. If the money is right for the Sheik, if they have the right cold beer, Baba, if they have the kush ready for the Sheik come to center of ring, make everyone humble. The Ric Flair, the Dollar Store Sammy Kiss, the Twist Tony, anybody you come into center of ring with Sheik, you live. You walk in, but you limp out, Baba.
Well, I have a guy on deck, and I'm excited to announce him. He's the second time on the show, and this man might have something to say to you, man. I mean, this guy is an up-and-coming he's going to be a future superstar, and I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just bringing him in. I got Icon Lee, and Icon Lee is holding a belt. He's ready to go. And Sheik, I think this man, he could be your comeback match.
First of all, this guy here, he's nothing more but a sheep, and he's running his mouth. And that's normally what you're known for doing these days, is running your mouth on Twitter. All you do to make yourself relevant is run your mouth on Twitter. How about you step in the ring again, huh? You got that CGI ring behind you, boy.
Why you put me on screen with the Haiti kid? I not understand why this Ali Icon come here dressed like he going to Eagle Scout. Then I am ready to break his back. He look like he is auditioning for Abercrombie Fitch ad. I take this.
That's a lot of money, boy.
Listen, how much money you spend on that belt, Baba? Because I take it and I wrap it around your pencil neck and I break you in half, Baba. You don't know old country way.
You talk a lot of crap behind the screen, don't you?
Oh,
that's what you do. That's what I just said you do.
Iran, you listen to me. You look like the Mr. T when he was 5-year-old. You come to me, I teach you how to be a man. I promote you immediately to Eagle Scout, Baba, in Tehran, Iran.
Now, Sheik, Sammy, you're right, Sammy. All he does is he mentions us to the greats, right? He called you Tony. He called me Mr. T. So that's a compliment, Mr. Iron Sheik. Sheep imposter.
Oh, listen, Baba. I take you old country way, and you will respect the legend when I am done with you. You understand? Listen.
You gotta respect me.
You take the greatest country in the world, the Iron Sheik for number one, Iran. Number one is the Russia.
See that?
I can
See
live
that?
with the belt made of polyurethane plastic. I take it, wrap it around his pencil neck, break him in half, and make him humble.
All right,
You're
all right,
peasant.
Sheik. Wait, I got Icon on the show, man. He's getting ready to wrestle. I mean, this guy, he's really breaking necks right now. So let me jump over to Icon really quick. Icon, what do you got going on, man? What show are you at? Tell us about what's going on
Well,
in the
I'm
world
here.
of Icon Lee.
Yeah, I got you, Tony. Well, I'm here. I'm here in Indiana for one of the many companies that I wrestle for in the United States of America. I still happen to be a champion in 2 different states, Ohio and Indiana. All right. So I'm about to go in this arena here in Jeffersonville, and I'm gonna kick a wrestler name. His name is Sexy J. I'm gonna kick his ass. That's what I plan on doing today, and I plan on retaining my .com championship, making me the most relevant wrestler on the internet today.
I can't
One of
believe
the
how
most
long
relevant.
after you're done with the wrestling will it take you to clean up?
Speak up.
How
Speak up.
long will it take you? How many mop you use to clean up after you beat the wrestler in the ring?
I don't need a mop.
You
No,
know,
are you-
Clean up. That's what
Sheik,
peasants
they
do.
don't even
Peasants
trust you
clean
with
up.
mop. They give you the belt, but not trust you with the mop. Come on, Icon Lee. You go in, you break a buck, you put somebody in a camel clutch, you say, look at me, I am the new Iron Sheik. And then when you get done, they hand you the Windex and the mop.
Look at that.
Good job.
What do
I mean,
you
look at
look
it-
like? What
look at
do
those
you
guns,
look like?
Sheik. I mean,
I look like this, Baba, Olympic champion, greatest heavyweight champion of what break the back of the Hollywood blonde jabroni, break the back of the Buster Bob Backlund. You, meanwhile, go to a bad barber.
I go to a bad barber.
Yes, sir.
How about you take that little Iron Sheik imposter crap off your head and let's see that bald aging of yours, huh?
Now,
You've been
come
bald
to
for many
Central,
years,
I'll
old
take
man.
it off for you right there, right after you get done with the mop and the broom.
This guy, Tony.
Sheik. I mean, the metal is looking like it's filled with chocolate. That's not filled with chocolate, is it? It is Halloween.
Yikes.
1,000% A to Z, 100% gold medal. And I didn't have to do it with broken freaking neck, brother.
Oh, well, now you're taking a shot at Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is not coming on the show today. But Icon, tell everybody about the show that you're at. Is there tickets still available? Where can you go online? What do you got coming up next, man? I just caught that picture of you with Saraya backstage at AEW. That
Called
was
a
fucking
culture
awesome.
post. Yeah. I like to do that. Those are called culture posts. And actually, if any other wrestler is taking pictures with other wrestlers, then that's my style because I've been doing that for a very, very long time. All right. So shout out to Saraya. But tickets aren't available anymore. The event's sold out. But the event will be shown on my Instagram. My match, anyways, will be posted. Me kicking Sexy J's ass. I actually think he just pulled up, which is hilarious. But yeah,
shit.
so I'll be retaining this title.
Sheik, I think he's got you next, man. I mean, you better get your ass hobble on over to where he's at and put your money where your mouth is.
He know where to find me, Baba. I be here all the Sunday. I be here the Monday. And then when he is ready, I take him and I break his back, Baba.
I swear that's a CGI ring behind him. It's not a real ring.
You come find out, Mr. T. You
It's
come find
training.
out. You
He's
bring the
training
whole
24/7.
team, Baba. We come in center of the ring, Baba. You bring Hannibal and you bring the Murdoch and you come and you fight me in the center of the ring with the whole A team.
Oh,
How much
shit.
money you
Maybe
got?
I shave the rest of your head, Baba.
You got enough money?
I take the
Oh.
rest of your head, I shave it, and then
Yeah,
I
we're about money.
You bring the beer, I bring the money, Baba.
He might have to pawn that chocolate gold medal, you know?
There you go, Tony.
1,000%, Baba.
Well, Icon, thanks for coming on, brother. Thanks for
Anytime.
coming out. We're a big fan of you here at the show. Good luck tonight. And Sheik, I think you're up next.
You want to collab? I'll even collab with you when I post the match. All right? How about that?
Love it, man. Thanks a
Icon,
lot, Sheik. Sheik,
Sammy,
better
I
watch
see
out.
you, Sammy.
Good luck, jabroni.
All right.
Good luck,
Good luck,
jabroni.
man. Good luck.
Thank you, Sammy. I see you liking my stuff. Thank you. Keep
Oh,
kicking
there you
ass
go,
in
man.
NWA, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Good luck
Yes,
tonight.
sir. Thank you.
Icon. Sheik, you gotta be a little nicer to the guests, man. I mean, come on. I mean, I know you're fired up, but
It's almost Monday, Baba. Factor Monday, so I am in bad mood already.
well, you didn't waste any time. Last night we had a fight versus Jake Paul and Anderson Silva, right? And I don't know if the world is shocked or not, but Jake Paul beat him last night. You didn't waste any time. You went to your Twitter talking about you're going to break Jake Paul's neck.
Listen,
So, I mean, what's you got it in for everybody, man.
Baba, the Jake Paul is nothing more than the new version of the Hollywood blonde jabroni. Listen, years ago, the Mr. Vergania, he said to the Sheik, he said, Sheiky, baby, I pay you $100,000. Break the back of the eye of the Hollywood jabroni. You make Mr. McMahon cry. You break the leg. You break the back of the jabroni. And I say, Mr. Vergania, I know I don't want any trouble. I love the Vince McMahon, but I tell you now, 2022, I don't love the Jake Paul. The Jake Paul, I break his neck with my little pinky finger, Baba. He is nothing but pencil neck geek. He is lucky that I don't beat the shit out of him. I make him humble, and he will love me forever, Baba.
Wow.
Iron Sheik, I can't help but notice that you just compared Jake Paul to Hulk Hogan, and I think that's a great compliment.
Say it right, Dollar Store Jabroni is a pencil neck geek jabroni.
All right. Well, I think that we should try to learn. Hasn't it been long enough, Iron Sheik? I mean, it's 2022. You're a Hall of Famer. You're at the first ever WrestleMania with so many other Hall of Famers like Hulk Hogan. You've got the Macho Man Randy Savage, who I know that like you've talked a lot about. Like, what you don't like a Macho Man Randy Savage? What's your problem with Macho Man?
The Macho Man Randy Savage is full of the baby oil. Is constantly tell everyone he greatest. When he in the ring with the Iron Sheik, when he even know the Iron Sheik, he know that he cannot possibly be the greatest. He know the real recognize the real, Baba. And Iron Sheik know that the Macho Man does come nowhere near the greatness of the legend, Baba.
Wow. Well, I mean, Jake Paul, let's get back to Jake Paul, man. The Paul brothers, I think, a lot of people weren't wanting to give them credit, but Sammy, are these guys the real deal or what? Or is it, are we talking a fluke bullshit that he beat maybe the greatest MMA fighter of all time?
Well, it's one of those things where I think people get really hung up on the brash attitude of the Paul brothers and how they present themselves, how they promote themselves, but they step in the ring with these guys that they have legendary status, but the Paul brothers, they're very young, they're very athletic, they train hard, and I think people take a little bit for granted the fact that they have that youth on their side, that stamina on their side, and I think people take them for granted. I think the fact that people always underestimate them, they take to their advantage. I think people get in the ring with them and they don't actually expect them to put up much of a fight. And I think sometimes that's what they're able to sucker these guys in. And I take nothing away from them, but I do think that people have underestimated them. And I think that they're proving that that's something that you really shouldn't do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, man. I mean, these guys, they're changing the fight game, in my opinion. I mean, you could take last night's fight for whatever you want. I'm sure there's a lot of MMA hardcores that are pretty upset about it today. But hey, it is what it is. But hey, okay, so this is Halloween. We got a Halloween show going. Sheik, I just got word, man, from the other side. He's calling in. He's not by video, but we have a very old friend of yours that definitely has something to say about what you've been saying about him. I got the ghost of Macho Man on the line, and wow, Macho Man, thanks for joining us, man. Huge fan ever since I was a kid. Holy cow, Sheik, this is an old friend of yours.
Come here, Baba.
Rest in peace. It's me, the Undertaker. Yeah, the dead man.
Oh, wait a minute. What? I thought we had Macho Man.
I recognize that gong. That's the gong of the Undertaker, but I'm familiar with this voice. Hey, look, there he is. There's the Macho Man.
Yeah, in the words of Walter White, you got me. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Iron Sheik. I mean, you got to be shaking in those pointy boots over there, man.
Can you smell the baby oil from here, Baba? Look, even in the heaven, they don't want the Macho Man. They tell him, get Jabroni ass out of here and go hang out somewhere in between, call podcast and talk to the Kiss Sammy who doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah, it's the Ghost of Wrestling Past, and this is your Christmas Carol, Iron Sheik. Yeah, wow. I'm here for you, baby.
Macho Man, you're looking good, man. Looking good. Death has done you well.
Yeah, cup of protein in the big time. Yeah,
Macho Man is the
sky. Yeah,
Macho Man is the Kravitz of the wrestling world. He is
okay. Come on, guys. Now, come on. This is a huge opportunity. It's the 50th episode of ATW. We've got the Iron Sheik. We've got Macho Man Randy Savage. Can we take this moment right now to bury the hatchet and you guys can make amends and actually move forward as friends and allies and put this bitterness aside?
Let me tell you something. Yeah, Sonny Kiss and Tony Schiavone, thanks for having me on the show. It's great to see Dragon Lee without his mask. He's talking smack. You know, wearing that luchador mask was holding him back. It was. I got a couple of things to say. Yeah, first, keep your mouth shut, Sheik. Iron Sheik's mouth is still writing checks that his buddy can't cash. On Earth, off Earth, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm better than you. Yeah, because the cream of the madness, my soul will rise to the top. Yeah.
The only cream that the Macho Man have now is the cream of the loser. You come to the earth plane, the Macho Man. You come here, you come to the ring. I put you in center of ring. I make you humble. Not only when you are alive, I make you humble when you are dead, Baba.
Oh, I'm real humble. Yeah, humble in the heavens. Yeah, you better talk to your friend, the Hulkster, about being humble.
Don't worry, he'll join you soon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow, very cryptic. What I want him here is a place for him, and it's a little bit below you and I. Yeah, it's another realm of madness. Yeah,
now, Macho Man, it's an honor to have you on, man. A big fan ever since I was a kid. You know, a lot of these wrestlers, guys that you wrestled with, are still hanging on. You know, we got Ric Flair.
Yeah,
you know, he's on a farewell legend tour. Iron Sheik, you know, I don't know how well he walks. Last time we saw him in the Royal Rumble, it took him 20 minutes to walk to the ring.
I show you how well I beat your ass, Baba.
Macho Man, if you were alive today, who would you want to wrestle? Would you want to drop the elbow one more time on Sheik, or you know, is there anyone else that
one more? They never drop it in the first place. One more time thing he should do. One more time he should do is not drop the belt to the Hollywood Jabroni. That's not what he should do.
All right. Sheik. I got Macho Man. He's from the other side. I don't know how long we got him. So I want to hear, who does he want to wrestle if he was alive today?
Yeah, I got one phone call, phone a friend, you know who I'd be phoning? Yeah, Mr. Papa Shango, yeah, he'd get the eye of a goat, yeah, neck of a newt, yeah, on tail of a squid, and he'll bring me back, and I'd elbow drop you through Howard Stern and Robin's table, yeah. He'll make Beetlejuice's head spin, y'all. Every morning you'll wake up and you'll say his name 3 times, and a little Beetlejuice will be in your mirror, yeah, saying, who, me? Yeah, He'll be speaking Spanish. He'll be speaking Farsi at your funeral, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
no, that's a direct shot at Sheik. Sheik, what do you got to say about that?
I
would love to see Beetlejuice versus the Iron Sheik. Sheik, that could be a great comeback match.
Here is what I have to say. Macho Man, Randy Savage. How you like my Macho Man Jabroni beard? I'm going to go for Halloween from door to the door, and I'm going to beg for Candy the way you beg for a title shot against the Hollywood Blonde Jabroni. I'm going to beg for Candy. I'm going to beg for Snicker Bar the way you beg for a career or for a chance to be as great as the legend, Baba. I'm going
You're such a jabroni.
jabroni for Halloween.
You're such a jabroni that when President Jack Tunney actually runs for president of the United States, he's probably going to pick you as his running mate. Yeah.
I don't see problem with that.
Piece of a
I
jabroni.
see no problem with that.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I'll see you in your backstage politics. Yeah. Oh, finger poke of doom. I heard it was your idea. Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, Sammy, I don't think we're gonna get these guys to bury the hatchet. I mean,
No,
You know what? The only chance of burying the hatchet is if I see Iron Sheik on November 14th. Yeah, in Jersey City at White Eagle Hall outside the Last Match musical. That's the only chance I'll give him because Papa Shango's brewing up some madness for me to come back. Yeah.
I see
wow.
you
Right, well,
there,
that-
Baba. I see you there. You be ready for Humble.
I'll see you there also. You bring your little action figures so your boy Matt Cardona can sign them, yeah. And then you guys can play with your dolls forever every night before you go to bed, yeah.
well, I think every night before the Sheik goes to bed, he's probably thinking about you, Macho, because I mean, this is a long-standing feud. I thought we could maybe get you guys to hash it out, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Well, it doesn't look like it's gonna happen, but you know what? Nothing's guaranteed. Yeah, you gotta expect the unexpected,
Well, Macho, I don't know how long you got going on there for the video feed from the other side, but it looks like you might be disappearing on us now. Thank you so much, Macho, for coming out, man. Huge fan. I think we
Macho
got
Man, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. It was an honor to meet you. A legend, one of my all-time favorites growing up. Thank you for taking the time to come from the great beyond. Macho Man, are you breaking up?
Yeah.
God, I need one more minute, God. You give me one more minute.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna have a problem. I'll elbow jump you to hell. Yeah, oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Oh, I gotta keep the admin in check sometimes, yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys got a pretty decent internet connection up there, so
Oh, pretty
I think we're
good.
doing
Yeah.
all right. Sheik, any last words you want to say to Macho Man before he rides off?
I
We got
see you in
Verizon.
the Jersey City, Baba. You better come. You bring your A game. I see you there. And maybe after you recognize the greatest and the legend, then maybe we shake the hand.
Yeah, I'll have a heavenly Slim Jim for you, maybe a double snap. Yeah, but we gotta see if the moon aligns with Saturn and the Jupiter's moons. Yeah, because I know all about astrology being up in the sky in the danger zone. Yeah, check me out, the Macho Verse on all platforms. Yeah, that's how
All
I'm
right.
able to be here. And the multiverses align, the madness leaks out, and you see a jabroni like him and a man like me. And you got Tony Schiavone and the man Sonny Kiss himself. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Macho. It's been great, man. I think that connection's about to end. But Sheik, sorry you guys couldn't hash it out. Macho, thank you, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Jabroni. I exercise you.
I mean, come on, Sheik. You had a chance.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, the
May
guy's
the
been dead
power
for how
of
long?
Christ compel you.
You know,
Oh,
it's
man.
Halloween. It's where the dead can return back to the living. And I know that we got Macho Man Randy Savage. There's so many legends that have unfortunately have passed on. Iron Sheik, you fortunately are still with us. Is there anyone that you would look forward to maybe stepping in the ring with this Halloween? If you could get someone to come back and have one more go around, one more one-on-one matchup, who would it be?
If I have anybody, whether they here or bring them back from wherever the Macho come from, who are you asking for? Be clear.
Well, I'm just saying, like, is there someone that you could come from the great beyond to step in the squared circle with you?
You know who I want step in the square circle with me, and I say this one from the heart. I miss my brother Nikolai. If I could have my brother Nikolai with me in the center of ring again, and we show the world that Iran is number one and Russia is number one, then that would make me happy, Papa.
What about getting in the ring with Vladimir Putin? I mean, the guy's always trying to show off his workouts.
Putin. Listen, I will take the Putin. I would put him in the camel clutch until he cry. I break his back like the Bob Backlund.
Oh wow, yeah, Bob.
I'm
Backlund.
starting to think, we had a very nice sentiment here, Tony, with Iron Sheik really showing something from the heart, really speaking about sentiment. And I gotta say that I feel like you're really stoking the fire there. I think people think that the Iron Sheik is this loudmouth. You see him saying all this stuff on Twitter. We don't know what people are saying to him behind that cell phone when he's doing those tweets. We don't know the kind of life that the Iron Sheik is living. We don't know the kind of provocation this man. I mean, this man is a legend. This man, as you said, has difficulty even just moving around, but he still does it because he's still a champion. He's still a Hall of Famer. And I think we need to cut him some slack and give him the credit that he deserves.
I think I maybe start to like the Kisame.
Oh well, hey,
maybe you not so much, Twist Tony.
Hey, you can't please everybody. But Sheik, thank you so much. Happy Halloween. We know you're a busy man. Got to get back on the phone talking trash about Hogan and Jake Paul and the Macho Man and everybody. So
I have $1,000 to break today, Baba. So yes, I am busy. Very good talk to you. Fuck the Monday tomorrow. Fuck the world. I see you next time, Baba. Happy Halloween.
Hey, happy Halloween, Sheik. I hope you're handing out candy to the kids on Halloween.
I hand them something, Baba, not candy.
Okay. Well, thank you, man. Have yourself a happy Halloween, and see you on the other side, Sheik. I look forward to your comeback.
I see you next time, Baba. Stay humble.
I will. Well, Sammy, that was one hell of a lineup.
No, yeah, I know that Icon Lee coming on to promote his upcoming championship defense. I thought that was something that's more par of what I'm used to. I'm coming on to the All Things Wrestling podcast, but to be bombarded by the Iron Sheik and then incredibly the Macho Man Randy Savage, something so incredible. I'm not sure that I can even really properly process it. So what a way to celebrate 50 episodes of the All Things Wrestling podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I think the world's going to be talking about Macho Man's appearance today on the show.
I mean, it's crazy to think that it's conceivable they won it because there's always so much wrestling news. There's always so much going on in this business, so much going on in the world that it's crazy to think that it's conceivable that the Macho Man Randy Savage returning for a podcast appearance from the great beyond might actually go somehow under the radar. So I got to believe that once people catch wind of it, that would hopefully be something that they got to check out. Everyone's always got to check out the ATW podcast. But yeah, you never really know what's going to happen in the studio here. So I appreciate you letting me to be on here to experience whatever the hell that was.
Right. That's exactly. I'm still trying to process all that. But hey, Sammy, I do want to get back to on a serious note. What do you think? What do you really think about these Paul brothers? What are we in for, man? I mean, we got one guy that's kicking a bunch of MMA guys his ass. You got Logan Paul, who's actually going up against Roman Reigns at the next Crown Jewel. I mean, what are we in store for with these guys? I mean, are these guys legit? Are they going to be hanging around, or is this all just for publicity for their YouTube channels?
Well, it's. I know we discussed it last time I was on here was around WrestleMania 38, and we discussed Logan Paul. Then he teamed with The Miz against Rey and Dominic Mysterio of WrestleMania earlier this year, and he was very impressive then. He's only recently signed a full-time deal with the WWE. He had his match against The Miz at SummerSlam. So he's looked to me like a natural in that time. He's got the look, he's got the charisma, he's got the right attitude. I think the way they present him as someone that the crowd is fully behind is possibly a misleading impression, because I don't know how many wrestling fans really are behind Logan Paul. I don't know how many fans of Logan Paul in general are behind him. But I mean, controversy creates cash, right? That's the old saying that, he is someone that I think always gets eyes drawn to him. So putting him in the spotlight makes complete sense, whether it's in boxing, whether it's in MMA, whether it's in the WWE. He's someone that, for better or for worse, whether you like it or not, to put lower on the card almost takes away from other things, because you know that he's going to be the focal point of whatever show that he's on because of the publicity that he gets when he has any of these sporting events. So does he deserve to be in the main event of a WWE show against Roman Reigns for the World Championship? That's something that I think a lot of people disagree with. But we'll see if he can hang with Roman Reigns next Saturday.
Now, have you been kind of staying up with what's been happening since Triple H took over in WWE?
Oh yeah, I try to, I don't have a lot of time, as you know, but I try to keep up with the product as best I can. I watch, all the major promotions to keep an eye on. I know a lot of people that are in these promotions now, which is so great to see them succeed and things like that. But you always want to keep your ear to the ground and keep an eye on what things are going. And I think Triple H has been doing a great job. I think for the most part, he presents things in a logical manner, in the sense that the last couple of years, I think my biggest critique of WWE has been a lack of follow-up to incidents show to show. Something would happen, and then in response, it feels like it didn't really make sense for what would happen after that to really be what the follow-up was. Right. Whereas now it feels like things kind of move in a logical progression, just in the sense of what happens on one show leads to what happens on the next show. And that alone seems like such a simple and obvious thing, but was something that I feel was a little lacking the last few years. So it's good to see that kind of return to the show.
Yeah, I'm excited. Going into next year, my favorite time of the year, you got the Rumble leading up to Mania. So I'm excited. Have you been following much on the CM Punk controversy?
It's one of those things. When I was a kid, I was the biggest CM Punk fan, so I've always followed his work. And he's, again, talking about controversial figures. It's been it's pretty crazy that this is a year where Vince McMahon is no longer the chairman of the WWE, and that's not even the thing that everybody's talking about because of so much stuff kind of blowing up, and the CM Punk AEW issue is one of them. So I've been keeping up with it. It's again, we still don't know. We don't really know what happened still. Now I know that I believe the investigation is closed, right? So what happened? I don't know. What do you think about it?
I think CM Punk is great at blurring the line of reality and what's happening in the actual behind the scenes. We've heard so many different stories, so many ridiculous stories. I think the most ridiculous one was that somebody kicked his dog, and his dog, all his teeth were knocked out. Where are people coming up with this shit?
I know that he wins the championship and immediately is injured. I'm not in that match. It was during the 6-man tag with the FTR when he was coming to the ring. Then he's away for a while. They crown an interim champion. He comes back, and then he gets injured again.
Right.
And I think that plays a big part of his mental state in all of this. Mm-hmm. You've got someone who finally returns to wrestling after 7 years, and he's become injury prone. He's someone that, and then that plays in your mind like, does that mean that you can't hang? Does that mean that you're not in this all the way? Does that mean you really can't do this anymore? And I think that puts him in a vulnerable state, not excusing what he said or what he did. I'm just saying that I've noticed that that's not really part of the narrative, in the sense of how much is that affecting him, in the sense that he's someone that wants to take the weight of the whole company, put it on his shoulders, and winning the championship 2 times to take that weight and then immediately crumbling under that weight, is unfortunate to see. He's someone that I think, I don't think was arguably the biggest star in that company, to go from that huge return almost a year ago where, it was a showering of love and everyone was so happy for him to be, back in wrestling, to come now where it feels like just kind of just on the dirt sheets going like, oh yeah, by the way, they finally settled and it doesn't look like CM Punk is coming back to AEW. And that the sentiment is everyone's kind of like, well, good. It's so crazy. It's how quickly that all changed. The narrative changed, the sentiment behind him changed.
Right.
It's crazy,
But then you hear these rumors, and that's what these all are, rumors. Triple H is actually interested in bringing him back to the WWE. Yeah. Is there any possible way? I mean, with wrestling, you could never say never, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
if Hulk
Well,
Hogan could come back to the WWE after the steroid scandal
Well,
and everything with that, I mean, anybody can come back.
Bret Hart
Right.
with the Montreal Screwjob, he came back, you know, and again, talking about CM Punk being someone who's not the young man he used to be. The
Right.
longer you wait, the less you're going to be able to do when you come back. I mean, I think 100%, virtually almost everybody comes back at least for that Hall of Fame speech. You know,
Right.
Scott Steiner was there this year. Everyone thought that was ever going to happen. You know,
Right.
Ultimate Warrior. There are all kinds of people that you would always say never, ever, ever going to come back, and they at least came back. They were able to do those things. And coincidentally, the people that brokered a lot of those deals, Bruno Sammartino, Ultimate Warrior, the guys that spoke to WWE in order to come back, was Triple H. It wasn't Vince
Right.
McMahon, it was Triple H. Now, of course, again, we don't know the whole story. We don't know what's going on, but the consensus always was that when CM Punk was in WWE, the person he had issues with more was not Vince McMahon, it was Triple H.
Right.
So you think that now that Triple H is in charge as opposed to Vince McMahon, that may mean that there's no chance in hell that CM Punk's ever coming back. But I know that when Punk, before he came back to AEW, he heard offers from both sides. That doesn't mean that he was, you know, happy with the offers, that it would have worked out, but he did listen to them. It's not like they called him and he never picked up the phone. That's something where
Right.
he at least was open to, you know, thinking about it. And if you're open to thinking about it, that means it could happen. And I don't think there is such a thing as never say never. You know, Carl Anderson verbatim said a couple years ago, you know, I know that people say never. I'm never going back to WWE. And where is he right now? You know,
Right. Money talks, right?
money talks. But also, you know, it's a business. When you're in the wrestling business, you want to compete at the highest level, and you want to compete where you want to be. And if CM Punk wants to stay in the business, the only place that's going to be able to compensate him the way that I know that he would want to be is
Right.
WWE. If it's not AEW, it's WWE. It's WWE or nowhere. I always thought it was strange that if he came back, he would want to go back to Ring of Honor, just because the way
Right.
he's always discussed wrestling promotions he's worked for, that's the one that always feels like that's the one he feels emotionally attached to, in the sense that he helped build Ring of Honor and things like that. But he never came back there, and that's because they couldn't afford it. You know, only after AEW became what it was, and then ironically absorbed Ring of Honor, which is what I'm a little disappointed from that alone, is that I was always a big Ring of Honor fan and was excited to see what Tony Khan was going to do with that. And you got, Samoa Joe and Bryan Danielson and a lot of former great Ring of Honor, competitors, Claudio Castagnoli, that they could have done some great stuff with CM Punk involved with them too. So I guess we'll never know, but we'll see what happens. He's still hurt. The rumors that he's going to get his contract bought out, but it's possible that none of that's going to happen. I know that this is what everyone's saying, but until it happens, you don't know.
Right. So. But I would really hate to see his career end like this, because I even feel, even if, let's say, he's not done with AEW and they figure out something, a storyline or something, I'm just not that excited for it. I think the only way he's going to get redemption is if he shows up in WWE.
Not to play
one last shot,
not to play devil's advocate, but it is possible. I know it's not a work. There's too much reality to everything that's going on. Right. And the problem with when people think that things are angles or not is that more often than not, something real happens, but then they take advantage of it and they move and turn it into something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think anything is possible. So we'll see where CM Punk ends up. Again, I think his better years are behind him, and I think that's a problem that a lot of wrestling fans have in general. And a positive thing about wrestling is that you can go in there and you can make the match whatever you want it to be. But I was not particularly excited to watch Ric Flair's last match. No. I'm enjoying Sting kind of turning into Terry Funk in his later years, where he's just kind of going crazy and going through tables and stuff like that. But sometimes I think it's better to, what is the expression? It's better to burn out than to fade away. You know, like it's better to kind of go out while your stuff is what you want it to be. You know, I know Undertaker talked a lot about that in that documentary, The Last Ride, about not wanting to tarnish his legacy. And a lot of people kind of felt that he already had, you know, and that was his issue, is that he wanted to make up for the bad things he had been doing in his later years. But you can't make up for it if you're not capable of doing that. So it's one of those things where sometimes you just have to step away.
Absolutely.
But it's hard to get away from this. You know, everyone who's in this business has a passion for it, has a love for it. It's always going to have that drawing you back in. So,
and I think that's with any professional athletes. I mean, look at you know, I mean, shit. If Jordan would have retired after that 6th ring, I mean, man, that would have been something. But it's like the expression is what champions always go out on their back. I mean, that's right. You know, you got to kind of have that passing of the torch, no matter what sport it is. But a lot of these guys, and you know, I get it. You know, they don't want to let go. They want to hang on that feeling. You know, that one last time. But there is a time to pull the plug on it. You know.
Yeah, and it's part of the problem is that wrestling is so. Yeah, I love the actual wrestling of professional wrestling, as obviously I think anyone does, but I think people sometimes the least important part of wrestling actually can be the wrestling. I mean, one of the greatest matches of all time is Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. And I mean, how much do they actually physically do in that match? You know, one of my favorite stories I heard Sami Zayn tell was he was in I think it was a tag match on a European tour. And it was like Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn and Cesaro, something like that. And the first 2 guys starting out were Jericho and Sami. And they had discussed doing this whole intricate, you know, chaining sequence to start the match. But the whole point of what you're doing as a wrestling fan, as a wrestler, is you do physical stuff to get the fans happy, to get them excited, you get them to invest. You want them to buy merch. You want them to buy tickets. So they get in the ring, and the place is going berserk. They're going insane. Like, they're absolutely loving everything. And Sami kind of goes to go for, like, the lockup, and Jericho kind of gestures, like, you know, subtly to be like, let's just sit in this. So they just kind of stand there and stare at each other and let the place go crazy. I mean, like, again, with Sami Zayn, his Nakamura's first match in NXT, I was in the building for that. And the first 5 minutes of that is just people losing their minds. And there's nothing happening, you know? Nothing's going on. I pointed that out when, you know, Stone Cold had his final match, like, you know, his first match in how many years this year. How many years has Stone Cold Steve Austin come out and done anything? He walks to the ring, he drinks a beer, he'll stunner someone. But when his music plays, people lose their minds.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Even though they don't really expect anything to happen, but you never know. So when you know that that's something that comes with wrestling, that like how much of wrestling really needs the wrestling, and you've got someone like CM Punk, who is a very popular figure, has his finger on the pulse, gets a reaction from the fans, even if he can't go anymore. Right. Is he not someone that you would want to bring into the company? Even if he's someone that would never be there before, how great would it be to have someone who said, look, Cody Rhodes is in WWE now. Cody Rhodes left and created a whole new company so that he would never have to go back to WWE, and went back to WWE. You know, so you really never know what's going to happen. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see over the next year what happens with CM Punk and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sammy, you guys got some big things coming up.
Oh, so yeah.
I want to hear all about that. So you guys got something going on with NWA?
Yeah. So Wildcat Sports is where I got my start. It's the #1 promotion in New Orleans. And after the pandemic, the whole state of Louisiana had to shut down pro wrestling. So I kind of migrated over to Texas and started working with a lot of great promotions there, and still do. But now that the limitations from the pandemic started being lifted, Wildcats started kind of moving to get things back together. And then we had Hurricane Ida, which kind of shut a lot of things down in New Orleans. We lost a few of our buildings. It was really tough for us. But we're finally coming back. This is going to be our big anniversary show, the big show that Wildcat would do every year since we got started in 2011, was the Revolution Rumble. It's centered around a big over-the-top battle royal for number one contendership for our Revolution Championship. And so we were coming back and we were trying to think of ways that we could make this the big return, like be a big, anniversary show, celebrate the fact that wrestling was coming back to New Orleans, doing it in a big way. And a lot of our performers, after Wildcat was shut down, had been working with the NWA. And Billy Corgan, the owner of NWA, saw the popularity of Wildcat sports, saw how big things were going, and came up with this concept that we would do a joint show. So we're doing a weekend event where there's going to be an NWA pay-per-view on Saturday, November 12th, Hard Times 3, after, the famous Dusty Rhodes promo. And then in conjunction with NWA, the next day on Sunday, November 13th, we're presenting our 11-year anniversary Revolution Rumble show. So there's going to be two shows, both in Chalmette, Louisiana at the Frederick J. Segur Civic Center. And it's going to be a completely explosive, wrestling celebration, a big wrestling event, biggest in Louisiana. And I really can't say enough about how excited I am to finally be able to bring wrestling back to the greater New Orleans area. It's going to be a huge event.
Wow, that's awesome. So where can they go on? People can go online. Where can they, is there tickets still available? There are still a few tickets still available. Limited floor seats available, but I do think you can get a couple of seats. Last I checked. So if you are interested in getting floor seats, get them as quickly as you can. Go to nwatix.com. The Wildcat Revolution Rumble, again, is Sunday, November 13th, and the Hard Times 3 pay-per-view is going to be live in the same building the night before on Saturday, November 12th. Again, nwatix.com. I know that Trevor Murdoch is defending the NWA title against Matt Cardona and Tyrus in the main event on Saturday. And then Trevor Murdoch is defending the Wildcat title on Sunday. He's also our Wildcat champion against Edge Stone. It's going to be so crazy. The Revolution Rumble. We were talking about the Royal Rumble. That's going to be coming up in January. That's one of my favorite events of all time. There's something about a Rumble, right? You talk about going to you went to your first indie event, going to see wrestling in person. There's nothing like it. And seeing battle royals or rumbles, where there's two guys enter, you're anticipating who's going to come out next. And our Revolution Rumble is actually really pretty interesting because it's not like a normal Rumble in the sense that it's two guys start, one guy enters every 90 seconds or so. Okay. Eliminations occur when you go over the top rope. But instead of coming down to the final one man, it comes down to the final two. And then once there are only two guys left, the match kind of resets, and then it goes into a one-on-one match where you have to win by pinfall or submission. So it becomes like an actual match, not throwing a guy over the top rope. Exactly, yeah. So whoever gets to the end has to have the endurance and adrenaline to get through, a 45-minute match, and then still have to have an actual match afterwards. So it's an endurance test. It's one of my favorite matches all year, and I've really been missing it since we've been shut down for the last few years. So I'm very excited that we're finally getting the Revolution back this year for the 2022 Rumble on November 13th. Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations on that. And what are you guys expecting for 2023? You guys got some big shows planned? You got some big things in the works?
Yeah, we got some stuff in the chamber. I can't really talk about much. We always try to promote, focus on whatever show is up next. So we're really have laser focus on November 12th and 13th as our big, anniversary event. But we're looking to come back strong in early January 2023. So be on the lookout. Stay tuned to my Instagram page at the_Sammy_Kiss, which is right here. Also on Facebook and Twitter. But also on Wildcat Sports social media as well. We're announcing stuff all the time. So be sure to stay tuned for that. So big things coming soon. But again, first and foremost, November 12th and 13th for NWA and Wildcat Revolution Rumble.
Now, since I can't be there live and in person, can I watch that anywhere? Will it be streaming anywhere?
So the Hard Times 3 pay-per-view on Saturday, November 12th is going to be live on Fight TV. So you can stream that on pay-per-view. The NWA Wildcat Revolution Rumble, which will be live on the Sunday, will be part of NWA's Power taping, which means that it'll be used as footage for their NWA Power television series on YouTube, which comes on Tuesdays and Fridays, as well as their NWA USA show, which comes on Saturdays as well. So if you you can watch the pay-per-view on Saturday, and then if you aren't able to see the show in person on Sunday, the Rumble will be available on an episode of NWA Power in the near future.
Awesome. Well, Sammy, again, thank you so much for being on our 50th episode. This is ATW's 50th episode, our 1-year anniversary. Love having you on, man. Can talk wrestling with you for hours and hours.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry. I know I can run a little bit long in the tongue. It's a problem I have. A lot of shows that I do commentary for, I'll work solo, so I kind of get in this habit of kind of going off at the mouth. I got to get reined back in. So I appreciate you.
You got nothing to apologize about. We love having you on the show. Love talking wrestling. I mean, some guests we have come on, they don't have a whole lot to say. So it's always nice to have somebody that come on and that knows how to use the mic. I think you know, it was a fun show. Thank you so much to the Iron Sheik, Icon Lee, and Macho Man from the other side. It was a hell of a Halloween episode. Thanks to Sammy Kiss. He is not the Make-A-Wish Tony Schiavone. He is Sammy Kiss and Sammy Kiss Wildcat Sports.
That's right.
Big things coming, man. I got to get out to the South. I got to get to Louisiana and Texas.
Yeah, come down to New Orleans. I mean, if there's a place on your bucket list to go on vacation, New Orleans is always in that top 3, top 5 list, you know, so it's a great place to come just to visit. And then when you're here, if you can come check out Wildcat Sports, we love to have, you know, while we're one of the upcoming promotions in the country. So come check us out.
Awesome. Thank you, Sammy Kiss. I'm your host, Tony Twist. This is ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast, episode number 50. And we're out of here.